Okay, guys, so you should have one item that you have created and you've done the texture for it, and it should be showing up in your game. If the item is showing up but the texture is not showing up, then it's a problem with one of your JSON files. So remember that your JSON files are the ones here that have the .json. And for the items, the only JSON files you will have are going to be in this models item package. You'll have an entry in your lang file for the display name that shows up with your item. And you will have your PNG, your actual image file will be here in this text assets, my mods, textures, items folder. That package. This package is for blocks. That is for blocks. And this is for blocks. So you only have one JSON file and you only have one image file. So if you look at your, we're going to pull up the pigingot.json, some things to watch out for if your texture isn't showing up is your curly braces. The only ones that should have curly braces after them are line 1. This textures, line 3 should have an open, and then line 5 should be the close followed by a comma. Display should have one on line 6. Third person should have one on line 7. Don't worry about the fact that this has got squiggly lines underneath it. That is a spell checker, and we do not worry about spell checking a JSON file. Okay, so third person on line 7 should have this. Now, something else to look out for, lines 8, rotation, and translation should have a comma at the end, but scale should not have a comma at the end. And then line 11 is the closed curly bracket for this third person curly bracket up here. It should be followed by a comma. First person should have an open curly bracket. Again, rotation and translation should have commas, but scale should not. Then you should have 3 end curly braces. These are the primary errors that you will see in this file. So if you've got those all worked out, then you shouldn't have any, then that shouldn't be the issue. And then if you still are having trouble with the file, with the texture showing up in Minecraft, then we'll take a look at that. Just make sure you send me an email so that I know that you need help. Another thing is that the value of parent should be exactly this, quote, built in, all one word, / generated, end quote, then comma. Okay, so those are the big issues that you will find in your JSON file getting your texture to show up. If your item isn't showing up, then we'll need to look at some other things. So that is all the troubleshooting we're going to do in this video for now. Now we're going to look into what I want you to do this week, which it is not due on Wednesday since I am recording this on Tuesday night. You're going to bring it to class on Friday. So we will get started looking at how to make our item do something. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at our non-food item. And that is, in this case, we're going to look at pig ingot. And so here we see that it is a type of item. And in your last assignment, you created the constructor and you set the unlocalized name and you put it on the tab materials tab. And then you also created this init method. And that actually made the, once you added it over here in your main method, that made your item show up in the game. So now we're going to take a look at making your item actually do something. Now in this case, I have on item right click. So when I right click my pig ingot, then this is what is going to happen. And if you remember from class, this is actually broken because it sort of initiates it. It creates a, I don't know, sort of statue pig kind of thing. So what we should have done is we should have said if not world is remote, then, and then move all this stuff over and then give our return. So basically what was happening is we were creating a pig on the client side as well as a pig on the server side, and a pig created on the server side doesn't work well. It doesn't work right. So you end up with this pig that doesn't actually do anything. It never moves. You can't get rid of it, and it just is always right there. So if you want to fix that, you need to add those 2 lines of code. So, but what happens is on item right click, and then we have the code to actually make our pig show up. And so, and then this actually gets rid of one of these items in the stack. So, you know, you have an item stack, and so you've essentially used up one of your items. As long as it's not in creative mode. See how we have if player capabilities is creative mode, not that, because we have this bang symbol, this exclamation point, that means not. If it's not in creative mode, then we're going to, you've used up one of those items. If it is in creative mode, then you get as many as you want. It doesn't matter. So then it's going to return the stack. So there are a number of, if you take a look at item, remember that pig ingot, we said it is an item. So if we do control, or I'm assuming command for you Mac users, and then we click on it, then it will open up that class. If we come over here, this will be the best and easiest way to do it. You should see something that looks like this. It has this little C with a green circle. When you expand that, if you go down, you'll see several on. So go down till the first letter is O. There we go, on. So you'll see that we have a number of choices that we could use if we didn't want to do on right click, on armor tick, on block destroyed, on block start break, on created, on drop by player. There's a whole bunch of things on item use, on left click entity, on using tick. So there's a number that you could do instead of the on item right click, which is what I did. So once you've decided what you want to do, you can pretty easily add that. So if we go over here to our pig ingot, which is going to be our item, we can do a right click, and then we can go to source. So right click and then source. And then if we go down here, we can do override / implement methods. Okay. So when we click that, we can see here that our item class, and we can see all of those methods that we saw over in the Project Explorer here. So, but if we go down, and let's say that we wanted to do on dropped by player, we could check that. If we wanted to do several, we could do several. We could do on item use, we could do on player stopped using. Anyway, we select the ones that you want to do, and then you click OK, and then it will just put them all in there for you. And instead of this right here where there's a to do, you are going to add whatever it is you want to do. Okay, so so that is how you implement and reserve a spot for your code, for your item to do something. You define the behavior that happens with your item. So you have existing code to be able to generate things, to create explosions, to change player attributes. Notice that you have a player in all of these methods here. So you could set player attributes. You could make them jump higher. You could make him, decrease health, increase health. You could make him any number of things. So that is what you need to do to get started to make your item do something. So now we're going to take a look at food item because it is a little bit different than a regular item. It does have all of the things that item has. It just has a little extra because it's food. So we will take a look at that. Okay, so as you can see, bacon is an item food, so we're going to go take a look at item food. You can see that item food actually extends items, so it is the same as it is the same as the item. It has all the same things that item has, but it has some things that are a little bit different because it's food. So if we go to here, we can say it's a little bit different, the on item right click, but we have an on food eaten here, and an on item use finish. So again, we can go back to our bacon if we want to. Most of the time something is going to happen with food when you eat it. And we can do a right click. Oh, I did that. Right click source. And then down to override implement methods. So here for item food, the things that are specific to item food is on item right click, on item use finish. And there should have been an on. Oh, we already implemented the on item eaten, so it isn't showing up. Now we can go to look at item and we can do any of the same number of things that we did with our item there for the pig ingot. So on block destroyed, all these same things are used. We can pick any of these. So let's do one of these on item use finish, and then let's do on entity swing, because I don't know if you're swinging your bacon, maybe it's something magic happens. So anyway, it will generate the stuff. They call these stubs when they just have little pieces of code, but it's not complete code. And right here where this comment is, this to do is your to do. That's where you put your code in. Again, here there's a player in, and you can change, effects on the player. But I did want to go up one thing real quick. In this case, on food eaten for bacon, we have it as magic bacon. And so, again, if we're not on the server, if we're in the client, then we're going to add a potion effect. And this is how you create a new potion effect. And if you look here on this potion object, it gives you all kinds of effects. So, fire resistance, harm, heal, hunger, invisibility. So it can give you all these different effects. And then you would just need to, after you decide the one that you want, you do .id. On all of them. See how I have night vision, .id, jump ID, move speed ID. So I'm changing the move speed, I'm changing how the player jumps, and I'm changing the fact that they have night vision. So, and then this is the effect duration, and then this is if the effect is amplified. So it's amplified by 1, which means that if it's a regular effect of 1, then it would now be 2 because it's 1 more than what it was. So anyway, you can add as many potion effects as you want to. There is this that you could do. I tried this initially. This where you're just setting the potion effect on the object itself. I found that this was limited in that you can only pick one potion effect. It's sort of setting the potion effect. So if you wanted to add multiple effects, you have to add the potion effect to the player at the time of them eating the food. So that's it. So then if you are going to add to your food item some kind of behavior, you would need to pick, is it going to be when they eat the food? Is it, going to be some other time? Most of the time you're going to pick on food eaten because that's when it makes the most sense to do something with a food item. So it doesn't have to be that it gives them, some kind of weird potion, but that's always more fun. So anyway, work on giving your item a behavior. One thing that I did have to do was I had to come back and edit my block. So if I go look for my pig block, I made my pig block drop pig ingots and bacon. Now you don't have to do that, but it might be helpful or fun to have a way to get those types of things, those items from a block. So on your block, you can come back and add a get item dropped. Again, you can just do a right click, source, override, implement methods, and then you can do a get item dropped. It may not show up because we've already implemented it. Get item, yeah. So if I comment this out though, I think that would, okay, so now if I do a right click, source, where's that source? There it is. Okay. Override, implement methods, get item dropped right here. So see, it doesn't, if you already have it, it doesn't show up, which is kind of nice because then you don't get confused and keep doing the same one over and over again. So if we pick that and we click OK, then it'll add, I think it added it down here after the comments. Yes, right here. The item dropped. Now also, in my case, the default item dropped is 1, the quantity. You usually get 1 of a particular item. So, but if you want to override that, you can do that with this method right here, which is quantity dropped. And again, you should be able to, let's comment this out and make sure that it shows up in your list. Source, override, implement methods. And I'll go down and find the cues. Ooh, hang on. Quantity dropped. Okay, so we can do it based on the block state, or we can just do the random, which is what we did. And so if we do that, then it will show up, I guess, at the bottom of our comments. No, there it is up there. That's weird. Okay, anyway, so this is the same thing that we had here, and so you can just return, in the case of our, I'm going to delete this and uncomment my actual code. In the case of the method that I implemented, this quantity dropped, I just pick a random number. So 1, 2, or 3 items is what are dropped. And if you look at the item that's being dropped, that method, then we just get a random Boolean value, so true or false. And if we end up with true, then we drop a pig ingot. And if we end up with false, then we drop bacon. So what happens is Minecraft is going to ask the pig block for how many items are going to be dropped. And then when it returns a number, let's say it returns 1, then it will call get item dropped 1 time. So whatever shows up, either a pig ingot or bacon, that's what's going to be dropped by that block. Now, another time you may have a pig block that returns for quantity dropped 3. In that case, it calls get item dropped. And so it'll get either a pig ingot or it'll get bacon. And then it calls get item dropped a second time, and then you'll get either a pig ingot or you'll get bacon. And then it gets called a third time, and you'll either get pig ingot or you'll get bacon. So you may end up with any combination of pig ingots and or bacon for any particular dropped item. So if you break the block, then the items are dropped. You may get 1 pig ingot if the random number was 1. You may get all 3 pig ingots. You may get 1 pig ingot and 2 bacons if the number was 3. So it's any combination of pig ingot and bacon in a 1, 2, or 3 combination. So it's all random. It's all completely random. So work on your item, either your food item or your non-food item for this week. Get it into Dropbox when you're done so that I can take a look at it and bring it to class. And people that are completely done, we'll do a show and tell. People that are not completely done, then we'll work on that a little bit and then try to get everybody as close to wrapped up before spring break.